All right, night 2. I'll note that Evgeny Petrov is basically, throwing his game into the ring here. So we're back up to having, free entries basically to choose from. Hopefully in the future we'll get some more basically, to choose from. I wasn't planning only to do a handful, but, it is what it is for now. I'll have to advertise some more, I guess. So, free games. Let's get a random number. And we got 1. Sorry, Degustav, but, well, I know what you're, thinking here. Because, he posted here a little bit. Somewhere. Yeah, it's right here. So let's just see this for a moment. He says, I should have watched DFuxa's playthrough in the, 14DRL Discord channel here. Now I'm nervous about what his playthrough of my game will look like. Well, we're going to see what it is now, I guess. Because you're next. Cut. And let's get to it. So, much like with Drew Harry, this guy's got a little bit under his belt. Just have to click here. His game for the Roguelike Fortnight was basically the Fiend in Facility 14. But he's got other games basically here of note as well, so let's see if I can basically find some of his Cinderella entries, which I think he basically has. So Bog Invaders is not one. He has obviously jumped into a few things here. A few jams. Interesting. A lot of jams, but none of them are Cinderellas. Well, I guess it's gonna be his first Roguelike being reviewed here by one of the people from the Cinderella team. Alright, so, The Fiend in Facility 14 by Disgustav. It looks like he's just the offer here. There's no one else. And he's got a browser-based game, so it's nothing to download. It's just right here. Okay, well, The Fiend in Facility 14. You are in Facility 14. You must plumb the depths, avoiding the Fiend until you find the Laser of Yendor, the only thing that is capable of defeating it. Movement is accomplished using the arrow keys, numpad, or Vim keys, HJKLYUBN. You can run by holding shift, double movement, or control, triple movement. Okay, we'll see what that's all about. 5 period, weighted turn, so basically very standard. Greater than, go downstairs. C, bring up command list. D, drop an item. F, fire a weapon. G, pick up an item. I, pull up an inventory. V, pull up a game log. X, bring up character information. And dash to look around a map. This is not a good thing to have for, a browser, I don't think. Escape. We'll see. Apparently, I press escape here, it quits you right there, I guess. I wonder if this was basically supposed to be a downloadable or not, because it feels a little bit odd having a quit thing right here, but whatever. All right, so The Fiend in Facility 14. Let's play a new game. All right, so we got ourselves a very classical, ASCII style of roguelike here. I can basically tell it's already basically very ASCII from the fact that all this stuff here. Alphabet soup for the most part. So commands. All right, cool. So this basically is our help menu right here. So press C for commands. YKUHLBJN. So, H keys, that's basically very straightforward. Numpad is there. You can also use the arrow keys, he said, but whatever. Hold shift to move 2 spaces, hold control to move 3 spaces. I'm not really sure how that's going to look, but we'll see. 5 to wait, period to wait, all the other stuff is basically listed here, so we don't need this. By the way, the game was heavily inspired by the Ogre based on article Tracking by Scent and Sound, apparently. So, interesting enough. No idea what it's all about, we'll have to see. Alright, so it looks like the escape key isn't doing too well, so for the most part, the keys are doing fine. We have this stuff right here, so H. I'm not really a V key aficionado, but whatever. Y can go diagonal there, H to go sleep that way, B to go down. That's enough for the V keys. So they work. You're in facility 14, you must plumb the desk. By the way, it basically says the same thing as before. I note that basically as I move around, we're seeing something called scent. So I wonder if basically is our tracker from the Fiend. Interesting. So fountains can basically let you get rid of your scent. You pick up a vitamin syringe. So there's that. I don't see anything for viewing what items basically do, by the way, so that'd be nice to basically have, but whatever. Press X, so there's my character information, by the way. We've got attack 2, range attack 6, and defensive 1. Okay. Okay, so there's the Fiend right there. He attacks me. You send a staircase to escape the Fiend, basically. Alright, so I guess the idea is you gotta avoid the Fiend. And probably as my scent gets up, he's able to track me a lot easier. The fountain dries up, so you have to be careful use up your fountains. They're a finite resource. But now I know if the Fiend's basically around, I might be able to kill off my scent that way. Deodorant. Deodorant basically makes you think that's basically used to remove your scent. Alright, let's just see what this does. Vitamin C. That basically heals us. Okay, so vitamin syringes are basically your HP thing, maybe? Or gram potions, who knows? We'll see. That door seems to be misplaced just a little bit. No, we're not going to jump into the chasm, but I'm glad at least to have I think he's basically one of the people who, this might be the person who's in the Discord, by the way, posting about what to basically do here. It looks like I can tell what the chasm basically is, so good job on that. You really want to see make sure players know what they're doing. And I know at least that's bad to jump into. A lot of fountains. Pick up a rope. That might let me, go into the chasm if I need to. I have to wonder, is the Fiend wandering around randomly on this level, or what's going on with him, I wonder? I pick up the taser. I might be able to use to stun him, so he can't chase me for a little bit. My scent's really high, he might be able to see me soon. I got the feeling the red dots mean He's been around here. Okay, so if he can track me by scent. He might have been able to see me there for a little bit. Maybe now he can't see me, so... I think it's the idea, like, you know, he can't track you, but, you know, it's easy to lose him if you're careful. Whoop, there's the Fiend right there. I'm tempted to use this taser, but let's not do that just yet. I think he sees me now, so let's just escape. Now, I wonder if, like, the Fiend is basically blind, by the way. I will note, by the way, this is a very interesting sort of like hunger clock idea where, like, you know, basically, like, the more scent you have, the worse it's going to get for you. So you have to basically, like, you know, manage your movement very, very carefully. I'll note, by the way, the transport is a little bit hard to see in the background. Fiend dung. I get the idea, like, you put the Fiend dung on. You apply the Fiend dung and now smell like the Fiend. Is that good or bad? It's good. It makes my scent go down. So, okay. A mapper. That might be useful. Is there a command to close doors? No, I don't see a command for closing doors. That'd be like a really useful thing here, I think. This is like, you know, drop line of sight and stuff like that. You know, I haven't been testing shift and control at all just yet, but... Do they work? I'm holding shift, by the way. It's not moving 2 spaces. It could be like, you know, he's just too close for it to happen, but... There's a scanner. He might have just got lost, by the way, for a moment. The way it's blocked, it says. Where is the stairs? My scent's starting to go back up again. Experiment time. Yeah, that's what I figured would happen. You use the rope and it lets you climb down, so... You know, easy enough. I like the idea. Player chases Fiend assist for free turns. What the heck is assist? Maybe the Fiend like doesn't necessarily spawn right away. 15 is dead. So I'll note this, like, just to throw it out there. It feels like some explanation would have been nice for like the items, as it makes the game feel a little bit incomplete without them. And it would also be nice, like, if I basically, like, could see like what the Fiends just basically sort of do. Okay, we found a way out already. That's nice. Let's go with deodorant, see what that does. Yeah, it reduces my smell. That's pretty obvious what it basically does, so cool. Well, the control works. I got a rope by the way if I need it, so that's cool. Now I wonder here if like the pathing for the Fiend, if basically when you have like, the pathing here, is he like, does he have to be like, walk over your central basically to find you? Or can you just like track it anywhere in the map? But yeah, one thing I would like is like, some description what this basically do, like these things basically are, since I'm not really getting like, any information based on what they do. Tracker, Fiend Dung again. I might as well use the Fiend Dung at this point. We got a little bit of it. And of course I find a fountain right there. But that's fine. Deodorant, useful. Whoops, I used that up. More Fiend Dung. I kind of feel like if these things are immobile, I should be able to remember what the locations basically are. I can remember the stairs and the fountains, but my inventory is full, so you can't get full inventory. It's good to know. Well, let's just do some, looking at this stuff here. Deodorant and vitamin syringe, okay. I'm not sure what's basically important to keep at this point, so we'll test out the scanners maybe. So Fiend states, intent is wandering, speed 1, scent 0. Detect scent threshold is 90. Okay. I think the transport is probably going to like teleport me, so let's avoid that. Let's just pick those up right now. We'll use some more Fiend Dung, I guess, to keep myself hidden. I wonder like I have like enough tasers at this point, because I have like a bunch of them. You don't seem to be running out of like, power or anything like that, so okay, Fiend's this way somewhere. Did he come this way or did he, go the other way? Interesting. So actually, like, lures are sent to, like, 100 or something. Now, I have ranged attack, but I guess, like, you have to be right next to him in order to use it. Or no, you can press F, so... Your taser is a ranged weapon. Okay, it's good to know. I can't hurt this guy with this, so... Okay, killed it. I get the feeling, by the way, I don't need to keep all this, like, these tasers. So let's just drop some of them. There's the scanner. It's probably matter if they equip the taser while we use that, but whatever. Alright, you send a staircase. We're dungeon level 5 at this point. Let's see what I can, like, find, like, the Fiend mapper and stuff like that, maybe. Scanner, tracker. Oh. Did the game just freeze? I can't use any items, by the way, at this point, so... That's unfortunate. Well, there's a bit of a completion issue right there. Your game has a freezing issue. I guess I can play a little bit longer. We've only gone for 20 minutes. There's the staircase down. Deodorant, we know what it does. Can't go that way. Leap of faith. You jump down the castle taking 4 damage, so that's a thing, but whatever. Better than getting slashed by the Fiend. That was just unlucky on my part, he saw me, so... That could be like a good reason why I basically want to have a lot of items, probably, because like, you could get seen by the Fiend. Which is bad. Alright, we're equipped with the 22, but... Let's equip the taser. Oh, I see red dots. He's been around here. There's a rope. Let's test this. He's tased for 3 turns. I get the feeling he sees me, so not useful. Let's use that right now. At least I can get down here, right? So that's kind of annoying, by the way, when you're hitting a note, basically, like, waste a turn. But, I get the idea why, so. Okay, we get down with the rope. Don't take any damage. Apparently I start on a fountain, so you have an issue where you can possibly spawn on, like, fountains. He was here, apparently. He's got a speed of 2, scent of 100, detect scent threshold of 100. The speed of 2 meaning like he's moving at speed of 2? Now I think with like, the control and the shift, all that basically does is, and like the shift doesn't seem to be working, it just makes us like move like 3 turns in the same direction. Be careful, he can track me by my scent. Now I have to wonder, when he basically tracks me by my scent, is he going to go to my last known location, or is he basically going to like, be like keep following me or stuff like that? Or is this going to be stuck wandering? There's a taser over there. But I already got a taser, so it's fine. He's wandering again, so I guess that answers my question. You can't see me, maybe, just yet. Let's use this up right now. Keep down here for now. Perfect. We'll use that. More deodorant, very useful. Oh, there he is. If I have to, I'll tase him again, but whatever. Tased. That dries up. He's a fast little bugger, obviously, so have to be wary of that. Let's just bite the bullet and jump down. That seems like the safest way of, like, not building up my scent too much there. Do you use the tracker? I can't really tell. Use the mapper. we killed that. I have no idea what those basically do, but maybe they're like worth it for points. I'm not sure what tracker does, by the way, so it may not be working. Well, I got a bunch of, Fiend dung, so let's just use that now. By the way, I wonder if like, when you basically have like a high like scent like that, does he like want to like, chase me, or does he just ignore the fact there's like another Fiend in the area? Of course, there's a fountain right there. Okay, I see the stairs over there. It's probably better to jump, I think. So, jump. Heal up. Our tracker. Yeah, I don't know what the tracker does, if it's just like, not an item that works. Let's just see what this does, by the way. Oh, I tried scanner here and it didn't work, so, bug. Alright, well, another crash. I guess I played enough to sort of get like a judgment call for like the game, so, we'll leave it basically as is. So reviewing your game here, basically. The Fiend in Facility 14. There's obviously some, like, completeness issues. You have bugs, so... Instructions could be better. There's not a whole lot basically to say here. There's basically like, what do we want to say here? A 2 in completeness? I mean, usually it's like very buggy crashes or obviously missing features that majorly impact the game. You give like a 1 basically in like Ascend URL. I don't want to basically say it was insufficient because obviously there was basically enough effort to sort of like, show off your game without it being like too much of an issue, but you're close to like, if this is Ascend URL, you'd be ranked a 1 basically here, so it's not great. This is why I like the 5-point system, because like you don't need to like necessarily completely destroy your score for it. Aesthetics, basically you have like pretty good aesthetics. My baseline would be a 4 here because okay, definitely we'll see. Well, I think that's basically the main takeaway there. I didn't have like much of a problem basically like seeing everything, but there was a couple items like the colors basically faded into yellow a little bit too much, so I almost want to suggest like for some items it might have been better to have like just the same color but just have a different like symbol if you're basically able to make them distinct enough. I can tell where the Fiend basically was. I don't think I see anything really wrong with like the key sets. Have Vikis for those who liked it. That seems to be like, the main takeaway. It worked pretty well, what you basically had here, so I don't see any real problem here. Now, what I want to say for like the fun here. I think that's basically my main takeaway for the fun, by the way. I did really like the idea of like the scent mechanic, but probably like the thing like it could be nice is like maybe you could have like traps or like hazards that you basically have to cross, and like maybe it could like make you bleed or like leave like blood on smears and stuff like that. And a tracker like the if you don't basically treat them, the Fiend might be able to track your blood and like not even care about your scent. Or like you could like have other stuff basically to like work with. It worked well enough though. So innovative. Always a hard problem, like deciding what you want to do with innovative here. It's definitely a neat twist on unusual mechanics. And I do feel like this is probably like fairly close to what we expected from a Cendril. The only thing I guess we'll say is like there wasn't a lot of ideas here. Like you had like the scent mechanic and like managing it, but there wasn't a lot basically outside of that. I think that's like the only main failing piece you have here is the fact like it was a cool mechanic, but you weren't doing anything besides like the usual basically for like jumping down chasms, use a rope. There could be like a little bit more like ideas basically floating around. There wasn't really. Unlike like the gamer here, where basically it's like there's a lot of neat ideas, but it didn't drive very well. Yours basically sort of the opposite, where like all your stuff basically drive very well, except that there wasn't a whole lot of ideas basically to work with. So there's that. Scope. Honestly, I feel like this is probably getting to like closer to the free range because you missed the mark a little bit of what to aim for. It's pretty close, but not quite there. what do I want to basically say here? I think it's basically the main takeaway. You have like a good idea, you worked it well, but you know, there wasn't anything else to basically contend with. I didn't have like any other enemies to contend with besides the Fiend, which, you know, is fine, but it might be interesting basically to have like, you know, more stuff basically to deal with is a thing, right? So not a lot of basically going on. And again, for Roguelike, this is a clear yes. Not much more to say than that. I mean, you have ASCII, you have top down, you have pursuit generation. I mean, some people might like be like you know, answer about like, you know, the lack of enemies, but you know, it worked well enough. I think it's basically the main thing. Like, you know, outside of Fiend spawn, I mean, nothing was really happening. It was like looking around items. And I think basically like it sums up basically like, you know, the ideas right here for the most part. Again, you can basically view this basically from like the link. I'll, you know, this is like shared, so anyone with the link can basically like see this. There's your overall score basically of like, you know, this sum of like all 5 things right there. I didn't really do it for like, you know, Drew, but you know, for the most part, you should be pretty content with that score. 3 is basically like, you know, it's not like the best score you can basically get for like, you know, this like jam, but I mean, this is probably like the good like, you know, par score. You know, I basically like was looking at like the scoring and stuff here. You know, 3 is basically like, you know, it's good enough. I'm not gonna complain about like, you know, playing a game that has like a rank of 3. And like, you know, this is like the thing. Like, you know, I did enjoy your game quite a bit for like, you know, the idea. Would I come back to it? No, I don't think I would. That's the like, you know, the thing is like it's enough there to basically like, enjoy it, but not enough basically come back to it, like, you know, play on my free time, so to speak. All right, well, that's basically the Fiend in Facility 14 by discuss stuff here. Hope you guys basically enjoyed a quick playthrough for it, and take care.